I've had a lot of fun doing some how-to videos on Toyota RAV4. Today I'm going to cover how to change a cabin air filter on a RAV4. It's not easy to get to. A lot of people don't really know about the filter to begin with. And it's one of those things when you go get an oil change somewhere, they'll ask you if you want to do it. You have no idea what they're talking about. Typically, you'll be charged about 40 bucks to change a cabin air filter. If you want to pay the money, great. If you want to save a few bucks, I can show you how to do it. This part's $12.99 at a local auto store. It's not expensive, and the good news is it doesn't require tools, so anybody can do it. I mean, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Unfortunately, there's not an indicator light on your dashboard that tells you when it's time to replace the cabin air filter. It's something that you just wonder yourself. Now, if they offer to change it, they might give you some kind of an estimate as so many miles required before you have to change it. That's really going to vary as to where you live. If you live in a dusty area, you'll have to change it more often. Versus living somewhere where it's not so dusty, not a big deal. Now sometimes you take air from the inside of the car and you recirculate it. In that case, you may not have to change it as often. Unfortunately, you have to sit in the car with your own farts. Or if you're taking air from the outside, in case you do have the farts and you don't want the smell in your car, then it might get dirty faster because you're pulling outside air and you're having to filter it. Now the best way to tell whether you need a cabin air filter or not is you go ahead and you turn your dial. Now do you ever wonder why you turn on your air conditioner on full blast and barely any air comes out? I mean, I've got it on 4, I've got it on recirculate, but the air is not coming out. There's no air pressure whatsoever. That's your indication that your cabin air filter is filthy dirty and it's time to replace it. So if that's happening to you, you definitely need to take care of that cabin air filter. So the air filter lives inside your glove box. So it actually doesn't live in the glove box, it's actually behind the glove box. And what you're going to do is you're going to open the glove box, and there's a little lever down here. And we got to loosen that little lever up before we can do the next step. It's actually on a piece of plastic here. See this little plastic piece? It's a little shock absorber. It keeps your thing from falling over. Obviously mine's come loose already, but what you're going to do is we're just going to pop it off. You can squeeze these ends here. We're just going to pull it off the end like this. And I think mine's broken. Yeah, mine's come loose. I'm going to, holy crap, we'll fix that. If that happens to you, I'll show you how to fix this little shock absorber. But anyways, you pop it off, and that allows it to come down. Now we're going to do the next part. On the back of your glove box here is a little tab. And what it does is this is what prevents it from just dumping out. It's kind of hard to see, but there's one here, and there's one located on the other side. So what you can do is you're going to give it a pull, and you're going to get it loose to where it's not tight anymore. It's not locked back here, it's out there. And we're going to do it on the opposite side. Now I didn't empty the glove box out, but when I do this, it's going to want to just dump out and all your stuff's going to fall on the floor. And my wife's going to kill me because she got all her important things in here. So you can just give it a little yank. We're going to free it, and then it's just going to fall out. And everything's going to dump out onto the ground. Behind your glove box, you're going to find this thing here. This is all your air conditioning stuff. And if you reach back in here, there's a little tab on the end of this thing that we're going to loosen up. Now I'm kind of reaching and not looking, but you're basically going to, here it is. There's a little tab here. We're going to squeeze the little tab. It's going to pull this little door open right here. When you pull the tab off, that's your air filter on the inside there. So what you're going to do is you're just going to pull out the old air filter. Just grab a hold of it. Just going to slide that bad boy out. Whoops. Grab it from the edges. It's going to slide on out. It's going to be a tight squeeze. But you remove the old air filter. Then we're going to take the new air filter, the one I only paid $12.99 for, instead of 40 bucks. We're going to slide them on in. Now again, it's going to take some finesse, a little tight squeeze in here. Damage it. Get that paper guy in there. Okay? Once you got the new one placed, you're going to take that cap that you removed. See the tab on the end? That's going to insert into an opening that's over here on this side. I'm going to stick it in there, and I'm going to snap it in place. There we go. You've now replaced your air filter. Now we got to put it all back together. Okay, so this little shock absorber thing, whatever you want to call it, this is the thing that prevents your glove box from just dumping open when you open it. This thing just prevents it from so when you open your glove box, it just kind of gives some tension so it doesn't just drop open. For some reason it came off, and if you look here, there's actually a tooth or like a little post that he fits onto. Now there's 2 holes on this thing. We're just going to use the bottom hole. We're going to place them over this little tooth in here. We're going to snap it in place like this. Just like that. Nothing spectacular. And then now when the glove box gets attached, we're going to attach it to the bottom of this little piston. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull this little piston all the way down. Like this. Just like that. So there we go. Now for the sake of not spilling all my wife's valuables all over the floor, I removed the glove box completely. And there's actually a hinge here and a hinge here that I'm going to use to reattach the glove box. So to reattach it, I'm going to go ahead and take it in, and I'm going to attach those hinges first. And it's hard to see because it's going to be covered, but here we go again. There's a hinge here. There's a kind of a, I call it a hinge. It's just a piece that's going to pop into the hinge in there. So here we go. Gonna feel around like Helen Keller. And there's the other. So now it's gonna hinge. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna attach that little shock absorber thing to the glove box. It just snaps in place. So now the glove box will open and close. And now this push tab here, there's one on the other side. All we're gonna do is just close it. And there you go. Look at this. It doesn't just dump open anymore. So here's a magical moment when we confirm whether or not we fixed it. So if I turn on the AC, it should be super blast, icy, fast, cold air blowing at my face when I want it to, versus the little piddly breeze that we had before. All right, nice, fresh, cold air, and it worked. So this will work on a Toyota RAV4. Mine happens to be a 2010. Pretty much any RAV4, any automobile out there, as a matter of fact, pretty much every car I've ever owned that's made by Toyota, Mazda, Subaru, you name it, has a cabin air filter that lives behind the glove box. Now consult your manual, but again, I encourage you, do it yourself. Don't pay some guy 40 bucks, like $30 in labor, to do something you could do yourself in a few minutes. Good luck.